Before we get into this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Enjoy. Back to the video.
You got to pick what you want to be extreme about. I see a lot of people, especially in the media these days, when I'm, hanging out with friends or maybe on a date or something like that. And a lot of people gravitate towards extremes. They gravitate towards extreme ideology. And a lot of that's due to social media, whether it's opinions on dating, whether it's opinions on political stances in which they have little influence over or full context on. What most people that are stuck within a certain country fail to realize is that every country has their own dogma, propaganda, and brainwashing through media. When I was young and I went to Vietnam with my family, or was it Singapore or Vietnam, one of the two, and I saw the stuff that was in the media, and it was way different to the content that I saw Disney-wise and on Cartoon Network when I was, in Australia. So I remember going there thinking, people believe this stuff that I'm watching on, Vietnamese or Singaporean television right now. This is crazy. And that was cool because that at a very young age, in my early adolescence, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, it exposed me to the reality in which everyone or every government or every environment has their own messaging. But what happens is a lot of people become victims of that machine. A lot of people regurgitate opinions and ideas that they've seen from the media, whether it's from the left, whether it's from the right, whether it's from a man, whether it's from a woman, whether it's from whoever. Instead of actually taking time to disassemble and break down their own opinions and standpoints on things and go for and against. Yesterday I was going for a walk. I grabbed some dessert. And, I have my certain faith. I believe in Christianity. And the guy in Melbourne was offering free Qurans, which is the Islamic text. It's an Islamic text. And I've read parts of the Quran before, but I haven't read it translated. And they were offering free translated Qurans. And my instinct was just as usual, when someone's trying to offer you something in the street, I don't need that, whatever. But and I still need to learn how to do this better, but because I'm a person that likes to learn, a person that likes to study, I was like, hold on, let me just pause, retrace what this guy said, free Quran. And I said, is it free Quran? Is that what he said? I walked right back and I picked up the book. And I was like, it's free, right? I was like, awesome. You just got a free book. Now, whether you believe in Prophet Muhammad or, what the Quran says or whatever, getting information that contrasts to your core beliefs really tests how much you believe in certain things. So I find a lot of people that are stuck within their country and maybe haven't traveled overseas, they tend to be particularly victims to this because I wouldn't say they haven't had the foresight, they just haven't had the ability to really test their core convictions. And I forgot who said this, but I was watching an interview last year and he said he holds convictions loosely. And I think that was incredible framing. Being able to hold your convictions loosely, or at least with the opportunity to truly learn more and be able to argue against yourself, is one of not just the key sign of intelligence, but also is you're reforming the ability in your brain to be able to think differently. And thinking differently yields to different outcomes than many in society, Because if a lot of people are spitting out cardboard boxes and you create an origami, all of a sudden what you were maybe shunned for or ridiculed for is now beautiful, right? So that's some food for thought. I really particularly see this with people that haven't traveled overseas in particular. They've just stayed in one country for a lot of their life. They're into their 20s or into their 30s, and they're so convicted on certain things politically or economically or societally or gender, relationship. And I'm like, the conviction's incredible, but if I ask you to explain the opposite side of your argument, you really, really struggle, and it's very, very obvious. When I was in my late teens, mid-teens, I used to be an extreme advocate, not extreme. I used to be, let's just say, a lot more left-leaning in so many aspects. And I would research and read about, things. And what happened was, as I got older, and it was during COVID, and I read a lot of books for and against a lot of my opinions that I had. By the second half of 2020, I went from definitely heavily left-leaning towards like heavily right-leaning, and now perhaps I'm somewhere in the middle, or perhaps I'm more independent. I wouldn't necessarily categorize myself per se, but it's just so funny to me because a lot of the people that I went to school with that were a lot more left as well blocked me when I was going through my ultra right phase, and it was really absurd to me. I'm like, this is so interesting. I've actually gone ahead and willingly exposed myself to new stimuli, new information, and challenged my thoughts. But, I'm getting such abhorrent and extreme reactions from these people, So that's some food for thought. I'm telling you, this is a real game changer and allows you to rip off some of the binds that people put on themselves just because they just haven't had that external stimuli or that second opinion or that third opinion, and they haven't dared to test if they really believe what they believe without being intellectually dishonest. And a lot of people are intellectually dishonest. They'll know that there are things that can support the other side, but out of fear of looking stupid or wanting to be perceived right, they just go and double down on the rabbit hole, and then will try to assassinate someone's character instead of really compartmentalizing their belief structure. But that actually creates a stronger identity when you're able to really understand what you stand for and why you stand for it, because you've been able to explore both sides.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you liked it and you got something from it, or even if you didn't, please like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment. It really helps the algorithm favor this channel. And the more you support us, the more we can give you guys more extreme levels of value throughout 2025 and beyond. Looking forward to the next episode and being able to serve you guys. And as always, think mega. Take care.